Reddit's strangest glitch in the Matrix stories part 1. What would you do if a woman you've only met in your dreams called you, saving your life just moments before a deadly car crash? What if you saw your best friend's perfect lookalike standing just a few feet away from them? Sounds like the start of a movie, right? Except these aren't movie plots. They're stories from real people on Reddit who are convinced they've found a glitch in the Matrix. Today, we're digging into the absolute strangest of them. Have you ever had something happen that was so bizarre, so profoundly weird, that it just sticks with you, making you question? Well, everything? A moment so strange it feels less like reality and more like a bug in the software of the universe. That's exactly what users on the subreddit Glitch in the Matrix share every single day. These are personal accounts that don't have an easy explanation, bizarre coincidences, impossible sightings, and moments where reality seems to just bend. If you love questioning the world around you, you're in the right place, so consider subscribing. Now, let's get into it. Story number 1, The Voice of Aurora. Our first story is a wild one. It's about a chain of events so perfectly timed, it's almost impossible to write them off as just a coincidence. A Reddit user shared this story about being haunted for months by a name and a face that kept appearing in their dreams. The user writes, "When I was around 20, I kept having dreams about a woman with long black hair named Aurora. They were different dreams every night, but for some reason, her distinct face and her name always ended up in them. It wasn't romantic or scary, just present. She was just there. It got to the point where I would wake up frustrated and confused, trying to Google her name or find some way I was connected to her. I searched social media, old school yearbooks, everything. Nothing. After a few months, she stopped showing up, and I eventually dismissed it, figuring my brain was just being a scumbag, creating a fictional character for its own amusement. Life moved on. I forgot about Aurora and the strange, vivid dreams. Fast forward a few years to Halloween night, 2009. I'm in the car with a friend, and we stop at a gas station to grab some snacks. I'm driving. After we get back in the car, I start to pull out of the gas station, preparing to merge onto a busy highway. Just as my foot is about to press the accelerator, my phone rings. It's a random number I don't recognize. Annoyed, but conditioned to answer, I put the car in park and pick up. Hello? Nothing. Just dead air. I say hello again, and still, there's no one on the other end. The driver in the car behind me was clearly in a hurry. He lays on his horn, a long, aggressive blast. Instead of waiting the 2 seconds it would have taken for me to hang up and move, he gets impatient, cursing at me from his window before swerving his car aggressively around mine and speeding onto the highway entrance ramp. The very second his tires hit the main road, a silver Civic traveling at high speed loses control of its wheel. It fishtails wildly for a moment before plowing directly into the driver's side of the car that had just swerved around me. The sound was deafening. Metal on metal, a violent, final crunch. Had I not stopped to answer that phantom call, that would have been my car. My driver's side door. It would have been me, 100%. We called the police and waited at the gas station, watching the flashing lights. Later, we learned that the drivers of both cars died in the crash. A few hours later, sitting at home and replaying the event over and over in my head, I couldn't shake the image of that phone call. I was filled with a strange mix of gratitude and intense curiosity. Who was on the other end of that line? I had to know. With trembling hands, I called the number back. It rang 3 times and then went to voicemail. A pleasant, female voice came on the line. "Hi, you've reached Aurora. Please leave your name and number." I had goosebumps like I've never had in my life. It felt like my blood turned to ice. It couldn't be. The next day, still completely bewildered, I called the number again. This time, a woman answered. We got to talking, and I hesitantly told her my entire, insane story, the recurring dreams, the face, the name, the car crash, the phantom call. She listened patiently, and when I was done, she told me she had no idea how I got her number. She was certain she had never called me, as far as she could remember. It was just weird. As a final, desperate check, I asked her if she had a Facebook account, just so I could confirm if she was, in fact, the woman from my dreams. She gave me her name. I typed it in, my heart pounding. And there she was. The long black hair, the same distinct face. It was her. Story number 2, The Friend in 2 Places at Once. This next story tackles a different, but just as creepy, kind of glitch, the doppelgänger. Most of us have seen a stranger who looks a lot like someone we know. But what happens when you see that double standing just a few feet away from the real person? This story comes from a user who was playing a simple game of hide and seek. She writes, "When I was about 12 years old, my best friend, let's call her Lily, had just moved into a huge new house down the street. Her parents weren't home a lot, so the house always felt cavernous and empty. The kind of place where every little sound echoes, and you constantly feel like you're not quite alone. It was the perfect setting for hide and seek. One afternoon, we were playing. It was my turn to be the seeker. I searched the upstairs, the closets, behind the couches. Nothing. I made my way to the first floor and started checking the large, open-plan dining room. The room had only one entrance, and I was standing in it, so there was no way for her to get in or out without me seeing her. As I scanned the room, I clearly remember seeing her. She was hiding under the heavy wooden dining room table, tucked between the chairs. I could see her dark hair and the color of her shirt. I smiled to myself, ready to declare my victory. I pulled back one of the heavy chairs, ducked under the table, and said, 'Found you.' But she was gone. I was completely baffled. It wasn't a big space under the table. There was nowhere to go. I hadn't heard a single sound, no rustle of clothes, no footsteps on the hardwood floor. 1 minute she was there, and the next, poof. Vanished. I stood up, confused, thinking maybe my eyes had played a trick on me. I called her name, Lily. No answer. I decided she must have somehow slipped past me, even though it seemed impossible. I started to head back toward the main staircase. Just as I was leaving the dining room, I saw her rushing down the stairs. "What took you so long?" she asked, a little out of breath. I didn't say anything. I was too weirded out. We decided to play another round, but this time, she was the seeker. I ran off to find a hiding spot. I decided to hide in the coat closet downstairs, near the front door. I waited. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. I was starting to get bored and figured she must have given up or was having trouble finding me. I came out of the closet and yelled up the stairs, "Lily, I've been downstairs this whole time, come on." A moment later, she came dashing down the stairs, but she looked completely pale and confused. But I just saw you," she stammered. "I was looking in my room, and I saw you behind the desk. I saw your hand sticking out and your hair. But when I went to look behind it, you were gone." "I don't understand." That's when I told her my side of the story, how I had seen her, clear as day, under the dining room table, only for her to vanish into thin air. We were both totally freaked out. We went online and looked up what we had experienced, and the first thing that popped up was the word doppelgänger. We had both seen a perfect copy of the other, in a place where the real person couldn't possibly have been. The house never felt the same after that day. Story number 3, The Impossible Man. Some glitches are subtle, the kind you can brush off as your mind playing tricks. But others are so blatant, so physically impossible, they're burned into your memory forever. This last story is one of those. It's a short but deeply unsettling account from a user who saw something he just can't explain. He writes, "This happened on a summer night about a decade ago. I was around 16. My friend and I were hanging out in his backyard, which bordered a large, empty field. His older brother, who was about 19 at the time, was with us. We weren't doing much, just talking and enjoying the quiet of the suburbs. At one point, my friend's brother said he was going to walk over to the old, dilapidated shed at the far edge of the field to grab something. We watched him walk away. It was getting dark, but there was enough light from the moon and the house to see his silhouette clearly as he crossed the field. He walked in a perfectly straight line, reached the shed, and we saw the door swing open and then close behind him. My friend and I kept talking for what felt like maybe 5 minutes. We were getting a little bored and decided to go see what his brother was up to. We walked across the same field, along the same path. When we got to the shed, we found the door was shut, but not locked. My friend pushed it open. "Hey, what are you doing in here?" he called out. The shed was completely empty. And I don't mean empty of people. I mean empty of everything. It was a small, single-room structure, maybe 10 by 10 feet. There were no tools, no boxes, no furniture. No windows. Just bare wooden walls, a dirt floor, and a single door, the one we had just come through. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. He wasn't there. We were confused, thinking maybe this was some kind of joke. We looked around outside the shed, calling his name. Nothing. We walked the perimeter of the field, thinking maybe he'd snuck out another way, even though there wasn't one. After about 15 minutes of searching, we started to get genuinely worried. We went back inside the house to tell his parents. His mom and dad came outside with flashlights, and the 4 of us began to search the field again. As we were walking back toward the shed, my friend's dad suddenly stopped and pointed. "There he is, he said. Standing by the back porch of the house, the very spot we had just left, was my friend's brother. He was just standing there, looking at us, with a confused expression on his face. He asked, "Where did you guys go?" "I came back from the shed and you were gone." We all stared at him, completely stunned. My friend asked him, "What are you talking about? We watched you go into the shed, and you never came out. We went to look for you, and the shed was empty." His brother just shook his head. He said he had gone to the shed, realized what he was looking for wasn't there, turned right around, and walked back to the house. From his perspective, he was only gone for 2 or 3 minutes at most. He claimed he came back to the porch, saw we weren't there, and had been standing there waiting for us for the past 10 minutes. There was no way he could have walked from the shed back to the house without us seeing him. We were facing that direction the entire time we were searching. He simply wasn't there one moment, and the next, he was. So, those were the stories, a dream that saves a life. A friend spotted in 2 places at once. A person who vanishes from an empty room only to reappear somewhere else entirely. Are these just tricks of the mind, or are they quick glimpses behind the curtain of our reality? The people who shared these stories are convinced they experienced a real glitch in the matrix. What do you think? And what's really fascinating is how common these experiences seem to be. Thousands of people share similar stories, detailing everything from time slips and objects materializing out of thin air to chilling premonitions that saved their lives. Have you ever experienced a moment that made you question everything? A doppelganger, a bizarre coincidence, or a flash of impossible luck? Share your own story in the comments below. We would genuinely love to read them. And if you enjoyed exploring these strange corners of reality with us, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories that challenge the world as we know it.